Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the northwest corner of the map, playing in red, we've got marinelord, also known as Yun Sung Bin apparently. He's playing as the Byzantines. And his opponent in the southeast, we've got puppypaw, playing in green as the Abbasid dynasty. Welcome everyone to Coastal Cliffs. That's the map for today, and interesting civilization matchup. The Byzantines, a fan favorite of course. Abbasid dynasty, one of the old favorites. One of the vanilla civilizations. One of the originals. Insert another synonym here. In fact, let me know in the comment section below. What's another synonym for originals you can think of? Let's expand our vocabulary whilst watching Age of Empires 4. But either way, going out to gold. Going to be looking to get to that feudal age relatively soon. 4 wings of choice for the Abbasid dynasty. Which will it be? Going up against the Byzantines, kind of an interesting one. I think the Grand Winery is so popular at the moment for the Byzantines. Such a strong landmark, of course, getting 60% extra olive oil. Can you really say no to that? Would you really go for the Imperial Hippodrome? I'm not so sure. Especially with the Abbasid. I mean, this matchup is an interesting one because both civilizations have a good potential to kind of play the macro game, eco approach. Obviously, the cistern, a big part of that eco for the Byzantines, recently had a buff. So the villagers now are gathering at a rate of 10% at water level 1, and that's only ever going to increase. The Abbasid dynasty obviously do have the ability to go for the ecoing, multiple town centers, possibly Fertile Crescent, and would get fresh foodstuffs. Now, if this is all new to you, okay, fair enough. Well, fresh foodstuffs gives you the cheaper producing villagers by 35%. That's a lot of food savings, by the way. Couple that with the second town center potential with Fertile Crescent, reducing the cost of economy buildings by 25%. So imagine a 25% discount on your town center, and on top of that, a 35% discount on your villager cost. Put them together, and what do you get? You get a boom fest. It's going to be that Grand Winery for the Byzantines. No real surprises there. It feels like the Byzantines at this stage of the game, or the patch at least, have a really strong power spike in the Castle Age, and it's already much about timings. Because by the time they get to the Castle Age, often they've got multiple water levels, and they get much more gathering rates, but also they have the conscriptio. So when they do get more of a higher water level, military production starts to ramp up. The Castle Age economy really starts coming full force, and they can really start to produce. Something that the Abbasid dynasty are going to look to try and counter. I think it's a really interesting phase of this matchup, because often in matches, you get two civilizations battling it out, of course, and one has a bit more of an upper hand at dictating the terms of the engagement in terms of, you know, one civilization does what they want to do, and the other civilization kind of has to react and try and stop that in a way. And it feels like in many ways in the games I've seen so far, the Byzantines versus the Abbasid dynasty, it feels like the Byzantines are actually the ones that are dictating things a little bit, and it's the Abbasid dynasty trying to stop them. So he's going to try and stop it with a military wing. Going to give him access to 2 archers and a spearman without even having to drop a single production building. And also talked about the economic wing rather, giving Fertile Crescent, cheaper town centers. We do sometimes still see the military wing into 2 town centers. Sometimes we see the military wing into a fast castle. I've seen a couple of matches with Byzantines versus Abbasid dynasty, and we did see that play actually. It was kind of a race to Castle Age behind this, and you know, I'm not going to put any spoilers there, but there was one winner, and I'd be interested to see if puppypaw can do a significant damage to the Byzantines with these 2 archers and spearmen. What could he hit? He could hit the gold vein, which is pretty exposed to be fair. Coastal Cliffs, not known for the coastal, well, the close by golds rather, and this is the one that's closest by, and it's pretty far forward, so pretty rough for the Byzantines. Going to be looking to be pressurizing that puppypaw. One of the things I love about Age of Empires is the map RNG. And that RNG does not favor the Byzantines in terms of gold position. Not in the slightest. And of course, puppypaw now knows exactly about it. And puppypaw might need to find another source of attack, because there's no villagers out there. Looking to go to a second town center here, marinelord. That's going to be difficult to pull off, actually, with against... I mean, he spotted this, right? He knows this is happening, and I suspect that army is going to go directly there. It looks like it, and why not? I mean, it could be for a second town center. It could be the case that marinelord is just trying to gather this stone in advance to try and get the water level up. Because it doesn't really seem likely he's going to get a second town center up anytime soon with this amount of military on the field, and no real counter to it just yet. Does have an archery range which will help. To be fair, actually, with 3 archers would win this fight. As long as the spearmen get... Well, they are getting pretty close, but I was going to say as long as they don't get too close. And I mean, it's very quick to get those archers out, I've got to say. So maybe we'll get the second town center up. I spoke too soon, ladies and gents. He'll be fine. That military wing, it didn't quite work out for him in the end, puppypaw. It's kind of crazy. I managed to get the archers out in time. The big issue is that to try and get across the map is really what hindered him. It does take into a stable, and that'll be a little bit quicker over the map. But of course, by the time we've got the stable up and running, we're already heading at the 6-minute mark. He's got plenty of stone for that second town center. We do see in the most recent patch that most players are opting for a bit more of a conservative town center. It looks like they'll go for the town center and gold, which we kind of expected. Now there is a horseman on the field and a spearman and an archer. I mean, the town center will go up, but it might lose a couple of villagers. But I think it's a risk worth taking. It needs to protect the gold, and he will get it up eventually. It's just, can he minimize the damage taken? Can he micro away the weaker villagers? Maybe garrison inside the town centers to play. Hasn't lost a single villager, by the way, actually, the marinelord. So, whilst he's taking damage on the villagers, it doesn't really matter as long as they're alive and working. Even if they're on the last limbs, it doesn't matter for the Byzantine economy. They'll be out to work. Oh, he survives with 3 HP. He lives. And the second town center goes up. If anything, really, this might have been a bit worse for puppypaw. It did cause a little bit of idle time, but puppypaw himself is opting for a second town center, so no real harm done. Overall, both players, relatively similar economy, but one thing to bear in mind is the villagers for the Byzantines are working 10% faster. Abbasid dynasty, they do have the fresh food stuff, so the villagers will be 35% cheaper. Make it a little bit more easier to afford those horsemen, which are very food hungry. Mercenary house coming up for the Byzantines. Kind of excited to see what mercenary contract he's going to go for. But it just pulled off of berries. And back onto sheep. It's actually quite nice for the Byzantines to be able to do this. To go onto berries first and then back onto sheep. It's something that the Delhi Sultanate, the Abbasid dynasty, the Berry brothers civilizations, I like to call them, the Ayyubids as well, they focus on the berries early on. And so if they are under pressure, they've taken a bit of the berries already, and then they can rely on the sheep for the foreseeable future until they're taken out. But the gold, nice and secure. Looks like the Byzantines possibly saving up some eco upgrades, getting the wheelbarrow for now. But can I just say, this is a lovely town center spot here for the Abbasid dynasty. Obviously with the aggression of the military wing, I mean, I'm sure he didn't necessarily do too much damage per se to the Byzantines, but what it did allow him to do is go for a bit more of a expansive town center spread, and he captures the deer camp because of that. So whilst he didn't necessarily kind of kill anything with the military wing opening, it's a nice way to tech into a second town center into more of an expansive location. Bear in mind, it's a lot harder to do that these days, and obviously the Byzantines showing how hard it is, having to locate the town center quite close to home, and still a very good spot to secure the gold. But hey, puppypaw's town center is just better in terms of resources being able to be gathered at this stage, at least. Now, did go for the Western mercenary contract. Going to be accessing Longbowmen. A lovely unit for the Byzantines to have. Starting to head across the map. Now, one of the reasons why this is such a lovely unit is because you combine the Longbowmen with the Limitane, and you've got what English have, but on steroids. The Limitane can really be a great meat shield, of course, with their shield wall. Oh, horseman scout, just pressurizing, not really going to get too much value there, just harassing more than anything. And if you aren't aware, the shield wall ability is a very nice one for the Byzantines. It allows the spearman, or the Limitano really, to take the reduced damage on ranged units by 40%. It does decrease their attack speed and movement speed by 25%, but still, it's certainly, what we've seen before is actually Limitano dive town centers very nicely, because it just takes so little damage. Oh, Longbowman can get some value. Villagers here exposed from puppypaw, loses one so far. That's actually the first villager to die in this game. So first blood comes out for the Byzantines. And villagers have to back away from gold as well. He was maybe thinking about going... Well, he's going to the Castle Age with the culture wing, but needs a bit more gold maybe to afford some premium units. We'll be able to get some. That's a very fast tech up. of course, to the next stage, and he's got a stable, getting another stable as well. So looking to get some camel riders, maybe some lancers. We'll have to see. It certainly is the case that the Byzantines gonna have to defend for the foreseeable future because he's stuck in that feudal age, at least for now. The villagers and barriers will have something to say about that soon. There's that tech up. Bear in mind with the culture wing, will give him access to preservation of knowledge, and that will reduce the cost of his upgrades should he wish to choose it. And having already gone for the military wing, will give him access to boot camp and composite bows. Not that necessarily I think he'll be using it that much in the early Castle Age, because he's going for the cavalry. It's going to be the Golden Horn Tower here for the Byzantines. Again, it's a landmark that they always go for, really, at this point. Going to be building up with 14 villagers, but he needs to get up quick time, and he's got a couple of army units on the front line just to try and deter the Abbasid dynasty heading too close. But triple stable production. Go for the veterancy on the archers as well. So it's going to be lancers with archer play for the Abbasid dynasty. Doesn't actually have preservation of knowledge. The issue about the preservation of knowledge is it delays you for 30 seconds. It doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're going for a timing attack, 30 seconds can be a big deal. He's getting at it now. So he's got the all-important upgrades first, and then he's going to attack into it. Maybe he's going to wait for the preservation knowledge before he gets the eco upgrades. It's quite possible. Here comes a lancer. Out on the field now. 3 of them, in fact. Alright, whilst we're waiting for some lancers to do some damage, I'd like to say a very big thank you for everyone supporting on YouTube and Twitch. You guys are absolute legends. I have been streaming live on Twitch these days, so very welcome to come and say hello. Be good to see you here if you're watching on the YouTube side of things, and if you're watching on Twitch, you do jam out to some YouTube videos at times, then you might want to check out the content there. Sneaky, sneaky lancer going on the back. Olive Grove transition coming up now for the Byzantines. Oh, this could be an issue. It does have an outpost with arrow slits, but I mean, ultimately the lancers won't mind. There's going to get iron undermesh as well, cheaply. It's a little bit delayed. Well, not delayed, but it's going to have to wait for a little while. But yeah, he does damage. He pushes away the villagers off of berries at least, and makes that dependency on that farming or the Olive Grove transition a little bit more significant now. And he's walling up. And rightly so. You want to limit the mobility and the angles of attack that can happen, and this is something actually quite concerning for the Abbasid dynasty, right? He teched up, and the value that he was hoping to get was aggression, and he hasn't been able to do too much because of the walls coming up for the Byzantines. And the concern is that really the Byzantines, they thrive, they shine in the Castle Age. That's the word I was looking for. They shine in the Castle Age. Talked about it once before. Water level now, water level 2, 14% gather rate on those villagers, and I think really as well the big deal was the production speed, because now with Conscriptio, he's going to be getting 40% extra production. So saves on wood, of course, and he's going to be pumping out units. Got 27 so far. That's going to escalate quite quickly. All in the deer camp. No, he was thinking about it. I love that attention to detail, right? Like, marinelord recognizes that there's a lancer back there. Needs to make sure that if he does transition onto the deer camp, then he needs to keep it protected and Limitano there, finding out there is a lancer. He's actually started to move out, feels confident about it. Going to upgrade that veterancy on the mercenary. So veteran longbowman heading in soon. On the right side, looking to deny the relics. That's actually one thing that's important for the Abbasid dynasty at this stage of the game. He does technically still have map control, and so the early tech up does afford him that. It affords him being able to get some relics. Still 2 in the mid map, so hopefully if he wants to take full advantage of the earlier tech up, he's going to want to get those. Studying that water level now, should be 18% with the extra water level 3. But more significantly, it's going to be a 60% production speed on the Conscriptio. Takes out the Lancer in the end and is nice and secure at home. So it feels like marinelord now can be a bit more happy about pushing out with his whole army, because everything else, his economy is behind walls. Is that both players going to be opting to meet in the middle soon? Bang it out. Is on the field for the Abbasid dynasty. Could be an issue for the Byzantines with a heavy infantry play. I wonder if we'll see a couple of springles or not from marinelord. Be the natural counter, of course. There's that siege workshop. So yeah, he recognizes it. He spots the mangonel, and as you'd expect, goes straight into a siege workshop. Can need some time though to get that up, and then a springald. The second armor upgrade coming in, wedge rivets, will help deal with any ranged attack coming in from those veteran archers. So yeah, the veteran archers are going to take advantage of boot camp and also composite bows. Opting for composite bows first, increasing the attack speed by 33%, and that's going to be powerful to deal with the longbowmen. But the longbowmen, of course, has got the extra range, so he's going to have to gap close as best as possible. He's going to need that big push. Bear in mind that the Byzantines outposts do have a mangonel placement, so can't really dive it with the longbowman infantry. Springald on the field, the first of likely to be many. Also getting teardrop shields. Increase the armor of counterfract, movement speed of limitani, and attack speed of Varangian guards. Mostly being used for limitani. He's going to dive in with the lance, trying to snipe the Springald. Doesn't quite get it there. Mangonel deploys on the crossbows on the back line. He's got to be careful about the crossbow numbers. Going to try and dive on the Springald. In fact, the archers are focusing on the Springald. If he takes it out, it allows the Mangonel to dive in a little bit more. Limitani pushing in forward. Mangonel deploys. Springald still alive. But Springald does go down. Mangonel on its last limb, 16 HP, but that's all it needs. It just needs to survive and live. Lancers diving right on top of that. Longbowmen trying to back away as much as possible, but they're getting chomped at the bit. Veteran archers are chasing. Bear in mind the movement speed of the veteran archers is just faster than those longbowmen, and longbowmen numbers going to start to dwindle. Lance connection on the field. This could be painful. He's got to take them out. They are glass cannons, so they do go down. Lancers have to back away. The longbowmen hiding behind the palisade gate. I think he lost the mangonel. No, the mangonel's still there, but didn't keep up. Is working on that outpost. Either way, he's using the range to his maximum potential here, those longbowmen, although his archers are still getting close enough. He's still in range, actually. Oh, he's losing a lot here, marinelord. Composite bow archers ripping through that wood line, very exposed. Villagers could be starting to dwindle down in terms of numbers, and puppypaw with 57 military versus 18. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Abbasid dynasty. They take over the coastal cliffs map, and marinelord taps out. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game, and if you did and you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you catch the next casted game. Take care, and see you next time.